ready for my arrival, worm.
たとえ世界が全てを燃やそうとしても
Earth's oldest genius. Dude, Stephen Hawking died like a couple of years ago. Oh, you mean... Oh, okay. Sorry. Earth's oldest genius. And why it sucks to be Earth's oldest genius. So, Casual Geographic is back, and he's confusing us once again with his titles, making us wonder what in the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
So...
Always.
Yes. So, anytime he talks about sharks, Nick runs to the hills.
Yep.
Anytime he talks about bugs, Kate runs to the hills.
Well,
I'm joking.
spiders and snakes.
I'm joking. But needless to say, all this stuff that he covers, he's just got a really clever and unique way of just presenting it.
Yeah.
And also, he's a big advocate for, wildlife conservation, which, again, I love wildlife. But at the same time, there's a reason why I like living in a nice, comfortable house where I don't have to worry about said wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate its beauty in the world and in its place.
Right.
So, yeah. I don't know what the heck he's talking about here, why it sucks to be Earth's oldest genius, but I have a feeling he's going to talk about an animal that has been around a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, there's actually a Greenland shark that is actually... old. Originally they thought it was over 500 years old.
What?
Yes, because of its constantly regenerating, because sharks are so weird. Because whenever they lose a tooth, they literally regrow entire rows of teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, sharks are so good and so persistent about staying alive that certain sharks live very, very long times, and this one apparently has been alive over 500 years. Turns out they were wrong. Turns out it's more like 340 years. But still,
That's a long
that's
time.
a long time.
Yeah.
Although there were people saying it's just like, hey, he was swimming in the ocean when Columbus sailed across. Ain't much changed. It's like, technically not true, but still, he has been around way longer. That thing's been around longer than the steam engine.
Wow.
That's crazy to me.
That is crazy.
And the fact that here we are in 2025 and we're still making discoveries about our own ocean, which we still yet to discover the vast majority of it, because we've only been able to look at 70% of our, more than 70% of our own ocean is still unexplored.
Right.
That's crazy to me, man. Because you think about how deep and vast the ocean is. Everyone's talking about, space and this and that. It's like, what's under the water, bro?
Right.
What's under the water? That's what I want to know.
You know what your mom was watching earlier?
What's that?
The Meg.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie. I swear. There was parts of that movie I was just like, oh my gosh. And there was one part actually made me really sad with the whales.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no.
And then the baby whale, too.
Yeah, that one,
He
yeah.
was calling its mama.
And the mama was gone already.
Mm-hmm.
That actually happened. Well, there was actually a sad video of a seal. There was a seal swimming in this cove in Vancouver,
Mm-hmm.
or in British Columbia up in Canada.
Yeah.
And these people were out there on a boat, and they saw that it was a mother and her baby seal were swimming, and then in the distance they saw killer whales come into the cove.
Oh no.
And the killer whales started chasing them down. The mother tried to push the baby along, and then eventually the whales separated her from her baby,
Mm-hmm.
and then she hopped up on the back of the boat to get away from them, and they kept circling the boat, and the mother kept calling out to her baby, and there was no response. Yeah,
That's awful.
yeah, we talk about it once again. Nature's beautiful, but nature is cruel.
Yep.
No matter how you want to and it's like, no, humanity's cruel. It's like, no. Nature is cruel because nature is what it is. It doesn't care about family ties or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Humans at least can be compassionate. At least we have the degree for compassion, whereas most things in nature do not.
Survival of the fittest.
Exactly. And Casual Geographic points that out a lot.
Right.
And hopefully people will learn that. But for now, let's see what Casual Geographic has for us in this video. So are you ready?
Ready.
Oh, let me get closed captions off. There we off. Thank you.
No friends, no family, no wife, no life, underlooked, you're chronically cooked, abject, inept, disrespect, and often neglect. For an animal allergic to love, nature sure did consummate their misery. The octopus is a high-functioning, overachieving tentacle slug. As a mollusk, they have a family reunion more confusing than Nick Cannon's, where they have everything from a venomous anime fighter jet to this thing. Which means the octopus is basically an overqualified snail that lost its shell and had to overcompensate.
Relax. It's a clam. That's the tongue of the
Yeah,
clam.
okay. But I can't believe she just... Never mind.
She deep-throated that fucker.
Yeah.
Which means the octopus is basically an overqualified snail that lost its shell and had to overcompensate. Now they do have a lot going for them. They wouldn't have lasted 300 million years of reverse plot armor otherwise, but call it cosmic calamari the way they get absolutely deep fried by fate. They're built like malicious compliance. Like the boss's brat demanded an octopus and the developer had no choice and did so out of spite. You're gonna learn that the animal sans a skeleton got entirely T-boned by nature. It all starts when they're born. Octopus might just have the worst predator spread of any animal. Anything from cod, sharks, dolphins, stingrays, seals, sea lions, sea birds, sea otters, sea stars, eels, other octopus, and especially humans will all put an octopus out of order in the name of protein. Dolphins will even tag along stingray hunts to allow the ray's electroreception to lead it to a hiding octopus. Mind you, stingrays are like 2D sharks, and them and dolphins pulling up is like if the Reds and Blues of Los Angeles took the day off to go boo the Clippers. But dolphins don't need help humbling an octopus, as dolphins have been observed tenderizing the underwater 8-foots by repeatedly slamming them. Sea lions got the same playbook, as they'll swim to the surface and also maul mollusks, serving Suplex City so hard it wakes the ghost of Hulk Hogan. It's how animals with no forks or knives can tear it into bite-sized chunks. But it also means octopus might as well be born with a shape before use label. But on the surface it can look like an interspecies drive-by. Those are far from the only things that violate octopi. Sea otters are like waterproof wolverines that'll rip into octopus like candy. In some spots, they get targeted by the scissor jaws of the bobbit worm, a worm literally named after a woman who demembered her husband with a knife. Moray eel are a common
The bobbit worm. Lorraine Bobbitt. You remember hearing about her? At least she had the common decency to not throw it down a garbage disposal. There was another woman that did it who literally cut it off and threw it down a garbage disposal.
Wow.
Because she thought her husband was cheating on her. Turns out, no, he was planning a surprise party for her. And she cut it off and threw it down a garbage disposal and turned it on.
What a psycho.
She's in jail now.
Yeah, good.
He's still alive, but he's not the same.
A eunuch.
Yeah, except he ain't singing soprano because eunuchs, they usually have that done to like preserve the voice.
Oh.
He was in his.
I was just thinking like Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, like Varys.
Varys, yeah.
Yes, like Lord Varys. I say all these things are quite confusing for a eunuch because I do not have any desires that you do.
octopus, and they even have a second set of jaws in its throat to keep struggling prey in its custody, which seems like a suspiciously specific middle finger to a certain boneless entree. Even the things that seem like an easy lick can game over an octopus. In real life, Squidward would have had Mr. Krabs meeting Miss Puff's husband first chance he got. Crabs are like the potato chips of nature, and one-on-one, an octopus isn't losing that matchup unless they happen to
Yeah, this
are like
this
in real
clip,
life, Squidward would have
that crab right there. He's like, I'm just going about my day. I want money.
had Mr.
I
Krabs
want
meeting
money.
Miss.
Ah! I love that clip so much. It's just like in the screams just a
Puff's husband first chance he got. Crabs are like the potato chips of nature, and one-on-one, an octopus isn't losing that matchup unless they happen to get cheap shot by forces beyond them. But that's for one crab. An army can easily overwhelm and eviscerate the octopus, who manages to suffer from crabs while only being screwed by fate. They have a similar issue of getting jumped by leather
Squidward's
jackets.
getting ripped
And
apart.
I don't mean a bite gang. I mean literal fish eating it alive.
Yes.
Some octopus will try their luck against an
Mantis.
unassuming shrimp until they get served an appetite suppressant in the form of a bullet fist. It's so bad, it's confirmed
mantis.
octopus have night terrors about being eaten, with some filmed going from deep sleep to suddenly thrashing and inking themselves. And if PTSD ain't bad enough, octopus can OD on that same ink. I was not kidding about malicious design. Imagine your biggest hater being your own creator, because the octopus seems to be at war with its own anatomy. Let's count the ways. Octopus will use ink as a smokescreen to escape, but if they can escape their own bomb, they'll suffocate and meet Nemo's mom. Self-toxic ink is just where it starts. Octopus got no bones, no armor, no nails, just a massive chewy gelatinous protein. They do have a powerful bird-like beak, but a hitbox that small and a hurtbox the size of Madison Square Garden is deplorable design, and their build means virtually any shot you take is a headshot. Another thing is, octopus have 3 hearts, 1 central and 2 branchial hearts to pump blood to the gills, because apparently 300 million years wasn't enough time to make one cell functioning. And while that's kind of a joke, what isn't is the fact that them swimming fast takes so much energy, the systemic central heart literally stops beating. They count on cardiac arrest to get to where they want to go, meaning an octopus can be swimming for its life. Even at maximum effort, their best attempts are half-hearted. Octopus proved that a lot of us had evolution wrong. It's not survival of the fittest, it's just barely being good enough to keep the wheel going. And if that doesn't prove it, their brain does. Not intelligence, I mean the literal donut that has its esophagus running through it. Octopus risk brain damage every time they eat, and they're always a piece of food too big or too sharp away from factory resetting their entire personality, which is why they have the razor-sharp radula, the answer to a problem they never even asked for. That's not the only thing that can bring on cephalopod CTE. Since octopi can't thermoregulate, sudden changes in temperature can also cause significant brain damage for an animal that lives in the ocean. But remind me to get back to that. But none of that can top the fact that nature gave octopus a built-in self-destruct button. Senescence is the process of deteriorating with age, the withering of functional characteristics in living organisms. Basically what kids think turning 30 is. It happens to everyone, but nature chipped Octopoda with a kill switch. It's no secret that making babies is the last thing an octopus will do, as the process seems to give both parties dementia, as they lose all sense of self-preservation. Symptoms of senescence include lack of feeding, skin around the eyes retreating, white lesions forming, and awkward, uncoordinated movements, almost like they have no purpose beyond this point. But some seem to actively crave the sweet release, since captive octopi have been seen trying to rush the process by banging into sides of their tank, tearing off pieces of their own skin, and even getting their tentacles tangled. And it all begins with these 2 guys. They're small, but they got big plans. Those are optic glands, and they're the double agents that lie dormant between the brain and optic lobe until they get active, usually around the same time the octopi do, and it's believed this triggers them to produce more steroids and boost cholesterol. Specifically, scientists saw more activity in the genes that produce neurotransmitters called catecholamines, along with steroids that help metabolize cholesterol. What does that all mean to you? Well, catecholamines are hormones like your epinephrine and dopamine, basically the fuel to your fight or flight, and in octopus, their job is to redirect energy away from eating and, keeping themselves alive and put it all into raising their own, especially since that same optic gland will also secrete stuff to turn off digestion, which is why they starve to death. Not only that, but neuropeptides are what causes appetite and hunger, and they get turned off too. Yeah, they put the op in optic. It's a gland, but that optic got a lot of nerve, because in 1977 in Brandeis University, psychologist Jerome Wodinsky removed the optic gland from a mother 2 spot, and the outcome was they abandoned their eggs, continued feeding, and lived longer. It's literal predetermined self-destruction, and it's the worst kind. The Australian antique kindness has a similar fate, since males will mate themselves to death, and an increase of steroid hormones in the blood is how the kamikazes can go all out. Those same steroids also nerf the immune system and eventually cause a total body shutdown as they get poisoned by their own supply. But at least when that happens, they've made it with as many females as possible. The octopus is very much one and done, and that's why it's survival of just being good enough.
The little road wireless, which we're probably going, if we do make it more of a regular thing of us coming down here, then I'll definitely get those. That way we can hold them up like him, or we can pin them on our shirts. Yeah. But yeah, anyway.
End up lobotomized by our own dental. As long as it happens after you breed, that's strictly a you problem. And evolution can't save you from one of the most toxic relationships underwater as long as it ends with children. Yes, worse than the anglerfish. First of all, they barely tolerate each other. Lady octopus will respond to male harassment by chucking shells like it's Mario Kart. Just when the male thinks he's in the lead, there's a blue shell for his blue balls. It doesn't get much better if Squidward succeeds, since many males are dwarfed by their mates and run the very real risk of being cannibalized, leading to some very questionable mating methods. The blue-lined octopus will inject his mate with a venom while on top, a venom called tetrodotoxin, arguably the most potent neurotoxin out there. It obviously doesn't kill her, but it does make the female angry enough to yeet the male off her back once she's functional again. That's why male octopus have a venom gland 3 times the size of a female's, because ducks have a coital curly fry to force the issue, while the octopus clearly listens to Rick Ross. There is a catch though. If the male doesn't envenomate her in the exact right spot, she can wake up early, and the best case is he gets some of his arms torn off. Of course, some, like the Argonaut, say screw it, literally, and just hand the female his baby arm and swim away. A physical invitation to go feel yourself. After mating, the male basically waits to buy tickets to a Tupac concert. They go AFK, just a catatonic state where they move like an NPC. Also, post-mating males don't return to their dens. They don't even wait for death at home. They just circle the corner anticipating its arrival in the form of sickness, starvation, or getting turned out by a predator. The mother doesn't get off easier, since she gives up her entire existence the moment the eggs come out. She'll spend all day washing them with her siphon and guarding them, all while not going out to eat once. Mothers will eat their own arms before they leave them alone for a second, and that hunger strike can last years. One deep sea octopus brooded eggs for a total of 53 months. Just under 4.5 years. It was by far the longest brooding period of any animal, and she even turned down crabs offered to her by researchers. Like all octopus, once the eggs hatch, the babies swim to the surface and spend their early days drifting the current. And if motherhood doesn't murk her, the she-puss just waits for something like a pack of starfish to put her in her place. That place being past tense. It's the worst outcome of any mother, worse than cheetahs, hyenas, and even the sea louse. The payoff is all the kids she spawns. The giant Pacific octopus can have over 100,000 eggs, and some like the Cyanea can exceed 500,000. With all these sentient grains of rice.
Everyone wondered, like, it's like, wow, if octopuses are like getting opped up like that, like, then how are they still around? That's why. That is why, right there. 100,000 eggs to 500,000 eggs.
That's a lot.
That's insane.
About 1 or 2 will live long enough to repeat the cycle, because as far as evolution's concerned, that's enough. From egg to adult, the octopus's short life isn't a total show, it's a septic symphony. And the biggest insult is the wasted potential. The octopus got straight up cheated. Almost like someone knew there were a few changes from an obnoxiously overqualified Sigma slug seriously bending the natural order. Octopus don't have hands, but they do have arms, and they'll throw them, with reports of octopus suffocating threats like dolphins and sharks. Specifically, an octopus was caught shoving its arms down the gills of a pajama shark, nearly putting it to bed permanently. And speaking of sharks, that matchup isn't as one-sided as you think. In a Seattle aquarium, one octopus earned himself solitary confinement, and the reason was, staff kept finding the bodies of dead butchered dogfish sharks all over the tank floor, until cameras caught the neighborhood octopus murking any sharks that were put in the tank with him. Octopus will square up with sea lions with everything they have, and even ship-sinking stellar sea lions can struggle with a vindictive hors d'oeuvre. Even the symbol of America can get it, and there's at least one seagull with octopus in its obituary. Not to mention Neptune's
like, they try and go down in the water, and you only come out the water too big. And if their claw gets caught and they get wrapped up, bye-bye, Baldy.
Wow.
Man has enough awareness of human anatomy to attempt to play hangman.
Yup.
The octopus's biggest flex is their shape-shifting. Octopus have the ability to change colors, despite being colorblind. It's said that their skin may be sensitive to hues, shadows, and colors around them, and can conform to their environment. Some, like the—
Yeah, look at that.
Awesome.
Look at that right there. You don't see it, and then—
be sensitive to hues, shadows, and colors around them, and can conform to their environment. Some, like this Cyanea, can make hundreds of transformations in a day, but one octopus does this on steroids. The mimic octopus can not only cosplay as other animals, it'll purposely exploit their own fears. If a mimic's getting harassed by some punk-ass damselfish, it'll take the form of a venomous sea crate. And if the block's real hot with predators, the mimic mirrors the biggest threat in the area: a lionfish. But you can have all the tools in the world. It means nothing unless you know how to use them. And few things alive are as nice with the tools as the 8-armed handyman. The coconut octopus got its name because it'll appropriate the shells of the fruit as a travel-sized panic room, pretty much re-equipping the shell that time took away from them. Some will go incognito by using shells to hide in plain sight. They don't always use tools to avoid problems. Some, like the blanket octopus, invite them by stealing Portuguese man-of-war tentacles and practicing ocean open carry. And as predators, creatures, some have learned to drill holes in prey in the exact spot needed to neutralize them. They say octopus have the intelligence of a 3-year-old, yet man's moving like a pre-med major. And it's probably because octopus don't have one brain, they have 9. Each arm basically has a mind of its own, meaning 2/3 of its own cognition lies outside its own head, with over 2,000 suckers.
Hold on. 8 arms, 3 hearts, 9 brains. Damn.
That all move independently. 8 arms that can independently learn more about the world around them. A cornucopia of consciousness. A borderline hive mind. Y'all forgot about that temperature problem, right? Well, octopus can edit their own RNA based on how hot or cold the water around them is. It's basically a built-in thermostat that protects them from breaking their brains. All that brain power is how a snail's uncle is smart enough to solve problems, and in some cases become one. Some octopus have learned not only when and where crabbers will show up, they'll time it just right to where they'll swipe the crab from the trap, disrespect Steve, his name's Steve's, entire livelihood, and vanish, leaving behind corpses. Octopus can also tell people apart, and sometimes they'll end up having beef with one in particular, and will squirt them and only them. Some don't even stop at people. Otto the octopus decided he didn't like an overhead light, so he climbed to the edge of his tank and shot water at it, causing the entire aquarium electrical system to go out. And he did this night after night, repeatedly, until folks caught on. So why am I telling you how smart a Second Amendment slug is? It's because they could and should be smarter. Most high IQ creatures have 2 things in common. They're social and live in groups, and they live long. And sometimes those 2 things combine to form number 3. They're led by a grandmother. This means not only can they spend years and even decades learning, they can pass it down, building a generational database of knowledge.
Caught an op right there.
And even decades learning.
Yeah, that dolphin just...
They can pass it down.
Damn.
Killer whales are dicks.
Yeah.
Or is a what do they call them? Oh yeah, murder Oreos. Yeah, that's what casual calls them.
Wow.
Building a generational database of knowledge. Octopus get none of that. Every octopus is born an orphan. It's like a video game with no save points. So every time an octopus passes, everything it learned along the way goes with it. So every octopus after it has to start from scratch. Everything it is born an orphan. It's like a video game with no save points. So every time an octopus passes, everything it learned along the way goes.
He bit it. Oh.
It's raining.
Yep. He bit it and basically like killed it. It's like that girl literally got an octopus and like bit down on its like head right here and killed it, and then and you can see it's like tentacles going around like trying to find something to latch onto, and it latched onto her arm, and it took her like she had to rip every one of them off individually because it went into like a death grip.
Oh wow.
It was terrifying.
With it, so every octopus after it has to start from scratch, which puts in perspective the insanity of what they accomplished in 2 years. And that's another thing, they only get a couple of years. The intelligence of a 3-year-old just to end their trial to life after 2. If octopus lived longer, lived in groups, and weren't literal deadbeat parents, I'm talking like the Batman kind, it could get scary. And that's why I say octopus got screwed. Change 1 or 2 things, the entire food chain might fall. Like imagine if octopus just did the turtle thing and just climbed onto a beach, dropped their eggs and dipped. And it's not like octopus can't climb out of water. They can breathe through their skin for a short period, and they'll use this ability to take lives on land. So why not create them? Except the soft-bodied cephalopods would probably get put on a shirt before they got far. If only they had like a shell or something to protect them. It's a shame nature never came out with anything like that. And then imagine if octopus worked together. Humboldt squid scare me for the specific fact that they kill in packs, and there has to be at least one human who was jumped and dragged to the abyss and hate crime by the Antichrist calamari clan. But aside from violence, imagine what a group of like-minded octopi could do. They might mess around and start a renaissance. In fact, what if I told you it's already started? In 2016, in Jervis Bay off the coast of Australia, scientists found a
Of course it's in Australia.
Yeah.
Of course it's in Australia. Oh my god.
Settlement containing residents of gloomy octopus. Up to 15 of them, living on dens on top of scallop shells, doing everything from hanging out, communicating, to fighting, procreating, and even evicting particular offenders from their den. It's like an octopus suburb. It's a cephalopod community, and scientists named it Oclantis. And it's not the first. Octopolis was discovered in 2009, except Octopolis was founded around a huge human-made metal object. And no, they're not actual cities, it's just cute to call them that, but you gotta ask, what are they cooking? One can only pray they don't F around and invent capitalism. Cause the last way octopus got screwed by nature isn't actually natural, but it's by humanity, 300 million years of character development just to end up in a glass box is brutal. And thanks to Pretty Privilege, good luck getting the public to care about their mental health the same way they do with cats and dogs, despite arguably being just as smart. And if an octopus can have nightmares and predator PTSD, safe to assume they suffer from being confined to a fishbowl, just like orcas. Except orcas are a lot louder about their displeasure. In fact, there's a really good chance octopus are fully capable of catching feelings and forming attachments. Remember that next time an influencer tries to
Holy
mukbang one
shit.
still alive. I guess what I'm trying to say is,
That one
Was
was
it
one.
still alive?
Yes.
Holy shit.
octopus deserve way more credit than they get. They're really out of this world. And maybe that's why the world tries so hard to remove them. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Drink water, hug your mother, buy my book, spare a thought for the old octopus.
buy his
And I'm gonna
book.
see y'all
Where you
in
at?
the next one.
In the link.
It's like Dave.
Look at him.
Davy Jones.
Hey, buddy.
The blue ones. The ones
Blue
with
rings?
the blue dots on them.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, they're also really dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. That's why it sucks to be Earth's oldest genius by Casual Geographic. Dear Lord have mercy. So yeah, I know we ain't got much time to talk because I got to get back for the stream, but yeah, the overall, what would you say about octopuses? You know, in terms of like how nature has screwed them over and basically just have made them into a like a floating like calamari platter.
Well, like Casual said, if they had one or two things different, like they'd be unstoppable. So.
Oh, no doubt about it. I guess that's just how biology goes sometimes. Sometimes it's just to your benefit, other times it's to your detriment.
Right.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. They are really cool.
Yeah, no doubt about
I
it.
dumped a little
Yeah, a little.
squishy. I
Yeah,
want a squishy.
I know you do. Well, all right. I guess that's gonna do it.
I've seen some people that have had like
Pet
octopus.
yeah, pet squids and octopuses. Yeah, I've seen those too. And in all honesty, that it's cute.
Yeah.
Well, either way, everybody, I guess it's time for us to peace out of here and
Before
we need to
you-
get everything packed up.
Yep.
So,
Before you get rained
Yeah.
out.
oh yeah, it is raining outside. But everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you want to check out more from Casual Geographic, click right up here. It'll probably be on the screen somewhere. If you want to check our stuff out, here's our subscribe button. Also, don't forget to leave a like. It helps us out a whole lot. And I guess until next time, everybody, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Kate.
See you in the next one, everybody. Peace.